What's that same more telephone there? Live on there.
All right, guys, it's me, Brian Cockerill, aka the Taxman. Got Billy Moore here. I'll let him tell you who he is. Billy, welcome to the show, mate. Thanks very much for coming, son.
Thank you. My name's Billy Moore. I'm an author of a book called The Prayer Before Dawn, which is now a critically acclaimed movie of the same name, starring Joe Cole out of Peaky Blinders, Gangs of London. Yeah, so...
Oh, yeah, what an honour to have you here today. Is it true? I've heard this little whisper that you're a stuntman for Stallone.
I was a stunt standing, Brian.
Stunt standing, right? Yeah.
Stunt standing, yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
I worked with. I was just a youngster. I was in Thailand, Chiang Mai, and I got a job as a stunt standing for Stallone. And that happened. How that happened was I was in a gym, and I recognised this kid who I thought was a fighter because I was involved in the Muay Thai boxing.
Yeah.
And I seen this guy in the gym, and I asked him, was he fighting? He said no. I said, I recognise you. He said, yeah, you might remember me off Coronation Street. And to be fair, I didn't watch Corrie, but it was familiar.
Yeah.
And I asked him what he was up to, and he said he's making a movie, Rambo 4.
Right.
A week later, a cast and crew came in, took all the details of the montage, and took me picture. I said, we'll be in touch. And a couple of days later, I got a call saying, will you be Sylvester Stallone stunt standing? And I was like, yeah, all right. So,
you think it was a bit of a joke or something?
That is, yeah. I thought it was a bit of a joke, Brian, and it wasn't.
Yeah.
But I grew up watching like all the Rocky movies.
Yeah, they were marvellous, weren't they? Yeah.
He was my hero.
I think like when we did like you did the boxing and the weights and stuff, I think in that era it was like probably the golden era, wasn't it? The 80s, you've seen all the Stallone, the Arnold Schwarzenegger movies. Everything, there was nobody into drugs, wasn't there? It was just all, everyone was just into the movie stuff and wanted to train, and it's a different thing now. But what was it like being a kid in Liverpool? And obviously he's an Evertonian fan, you know, so it's like, you know.
What was it like being a...
Yeah, what was it like growing up in Liverpool? What was it like at home?
I think we grew up in an era of it, like we had none. We struggled. I was the oldest out of 6. You know, lived in a family there. You know, with the dad who drank a lot of alcohol. It was quite volatile, and we always wanted to be out the house because the atmosphere wasn't good. And that led to standing on street corners, trying to get in with kids who were drinking, not wanting to do what they did, but having to do it just to fit in.
Yeah.
Then
that bit like a sheep, aren't you? If you don't do it, you obviously
peer pressure. That led to like decades of devastation and destruction.
Get you into trouble and things like that.
Picking up a substance. And I suppose when you say you pick something up, I picked it up to change the way I felt, because I felt...
Did you get bullied as a kid?
I did, yeah. I did. I got loads of freckles. I got called shit splash, and had knobbly knees and ginger hair, and you know.
A bully's dream, and like I was a bully to the same.
Yeah, I think the reason I got bullied was because I never had the clothes that.
Yeah.
It was the clothes that the other kids had, like, you know.
Yeah.
Back then it was like Farah and Ben Sherman, and we had like Council Estate Clobber from like.
Yeah, same as me.
Yeah.
So do you think that made you into a fighter? When was the catalyst when you thought, I'm not running away no more, I'm going to start fighting back?
I was getting bullied by this kid, and I was like, my dad told me he was a boxer. I'd never actually seen him have a fight, but I wanted to impress him, and I went and joined this club because I thought, thought if I joined the club, he'd want to know me more.
Right.
Yeah, but he did. He saw a bit more.
Was he the same? You thought about your daddy?
Yeah.
Did he box your dad or anything like
that? He said he boxed, but I've never seen him. But he showed an interest when I joined the club, and I remember getting in the ring and having a spar, and Paul King was the trainer back then, and he says, you're really good at defence, because that's all I did, is I put my hands up, because that's all I'd ever known. I've been beaten as a kid, and all I did was put my hands up and protect myself, and that's what I learned.
So come instinctively.
Yeah, it come instinctively, and this kid started to throw punches at me, and I reacted, and I beat him up, and I felt good about it. And I thought, I'm not taking this no more, I'm not tolerating it. It wasn't, I didn't go out and start like thinking I was the big I am after that. It's just like I felt confident.
Yeah, I think when I was getting bullied and I had the fight and I won my first fight, it was like a millstone lift off me. Oh, this is better than running away. I'm not going to run away no more. Now I'm going to fight back. And did you feel like you had to try and impress your family a little bit as well when you were a kid? Not impress, but try and make them proud of you. You never got nailed back off them type of thing. Did you feel like that?
I think it was just trying to be loved.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense, you know, it might sound a bit corny to some people, but for me, it was like I wanted to feel a part of my own family. I wanted to feel loved. I wanted to experience that intimacy.
Yeah, the more you seem to do, the more you feel like nothing's happening here, nothing's coming
I was
back
getting, I was getting shouted at, screamed at, told I was worthless, and I wasn't going to
amount to nothing.
Yeah. So I believed you.
It does stick with you, doesn't it?
It does. You know, if you tell someone at an early age,
constantly,
they become conditioned to believe that their life is not going to be any value, and that's what it was for me, Brian.
Yeah. So, what? When you left school, did you have any things of a job or anything? Did you ever in your head what you wanted to do as a job?
I done a YTS course.
Yeah.
Which was like a youth training scheme
back
then.
Done that,
done that. But he ended up doing it in Boston and Lincolnshire. Trying to be a chef. I didn't know what I wanted to be. I wanted to join the army. I wanted to box for England. I had loads of different ideas and different plans. And, you know, and then.
What was the? When did you start the drugs? Then what age did you start them?
I'd say in Liverpool I was pretty late in the sense of I'd smoked cannabis about the age of 16.
Right.
LSD.
Which a lot of people doing it, and
yeah, it was like LSD and cannabis, and we were living in other parts of Liverpool that were smoking heroin. And
do you think that if you didn't take them, you'd be like outcasted type of thing?
No, I think it felt that lonely.
You wanted to do it, yeah.
I felt that lonely that I wanted to be a part of something.
Right.
I
know where you're coming from. Yeah.
And to do that, I had to join in. And when I did, I enjoyed it. I'm not gonna lie, I did enjoy in the early days. It was fun. It was like I was giggling because it was using cannabis, or it was a trip, and I was enjoying it. And it was quite.
And it masks, doesn't it?
It does.
In your head, doesn't it? Yeah.
It takes you away from the household. It takes you away from the atmosphere.
Yeah. So what would you? When was the last time you went to prison?
So to be honest, mate, it wasn't that long ago. To be fair, I'm talking about. I went to.
Have you been to prison in England?
Yeah, right. So I'll tell you what happened. Right, I'll tell you. I was in Thailand. You know what that's on.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
It's a long time. I've been over on a backpacking holiday to Bangkok, which ended up turning into 5 years. I've spent a lot of time in prisons over there, sharing cells with.
Did you do a 5 year stay in the country or 5 year in jail?
No, I've done 3 years in the prison and 5 years in the country in totality. That was like off a 3-month backpacking holiday.
What was it like going to one of them? What to? I've seen some of the jails. I've been over there myself, but I've never actually been in the jail. So what was it like going to them jails compared to the jails over here? It must have been horrendous, was it? It
was frightening. The experience was the first night was like I slept next to a guy who died, and in between a guy who died and a lady boy called Tiffany with fucking big tits that had serious had a top on that said no money, no honey, right? And a little pair of dress shorts with a big crazy balls in it. Thought I'm glad I'm skinned, to be fair. But a couple of months later, he looked like Beyonce. He did. I thought I'm going to end up sleeping with him.
Did you feel that fear? Do you think? Did you get over that fear? You had to fight, didn't you? Get over there. Well, how did that come to find that itself?
See, what happened was I went in when I was smoking loads of crystal meth.
Right.
It's like a yabba, most it's called. Yabba translated into English is called crazy drug, yabba. Yeah. So it's crazy drug. So it says a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I was smoking that. I was paranoid. I was aggressive. There's a lot going on anyway.
Yeah.
Goes in. So I'm psychotic by the time I goes to this prison in Bangkok. Yeah. I'm taking loads of tramadol. Before I got arrested, I came off a motorbike in Laos. The bike. I crashed into these 2 taxis.
Right.
The taxi smashed the bike in half. The bike went right through my stomach, ripped open my abdomen. I've got a stitch from here, Brian, right the way round. Right. This is in a third world country, by the way.
You're virtually cutting out.
Yeah. The chassis had landed on my chest. Yeah. Right, and I've got the handlebar going right through my stomach this side.
Did you think you'd had it?
Yeah, I thought it was over. I've got 1,000 methamphetamine tablets in my pocket. This is the reason I went over. So I could buy them. So I could supply myself and supply others over there. This is the way I was thinking. But this injury now, I got rushed to an hospital that was 5 miles away in a wheelbarrow. Right, blood was pouring out of me. Irish guy had seen it happen. He's just seen a foreigner. He said he thought it was Russian because he had that Russian look. He said, get to the hospital, couldn't breathe. It was just really difficult. So I got turned onto my side, and all of a sudden it was like And then I said, get me out of here.
Yeah.
And we fled. And I ended up going back to Thailand and spending 3 months in hospital. Had 3 surgical operations.
Right.
But I'm in some all kinds of medication as well, Brian.
Yeah.
I'm taking tramadol,
Right.
painkiller.
Yeah.
I'm not asked about anyone. All I'm worried about when I get in there is about the drugs. I want more drugs. I want to escape.
Yeah.
But to get them, you know, and with having nothing to fund me, I had to, you know, that was it.
They've seen a few, people have seen films where is it true that you'll see the guards betting on each other and things like that? Is that how you had to do it?
They did the times, right? Bet on anything, right?
Yeah.
They'll bet on who's going to die in the HIV ward. Right. So they were going, hey, Billy, would you like to bet on like Nindam? He's going to be 2 days. You'll put this on, or he's going to hang himself. And it was like, it was just
brutal.
No value on life, really, right? There was no value. Like, wow, they just bet on the weirdest things ever. And to be honest, it's illegal to bet and gamble over there.
You joke.
You can't even have you can't have playing cards.
Yeah.
That was against the rules. There was rules, 10 rules that were given out every morning on a tannoy. Right? One of the rules was you can't commit suicide. Right? I was like, what the fuck? Are you having a laugh? Are you serious? I was like,
you know you get killed.
Yeah, and I was thinking, one day, like I was thinking, no, one day there was a few days, like I was like, right, I wanted to end my life. And I asked this I could buy a pair of like walking around in flip flops, shorts. You know, I wanted to hang myself off the cage. And he went, no, can do. I said, well, why not? He said, it's against the rule. But who's going to be asked? Who's going to know? He said, what happened was, which is true, collectively as a cell, and there's 80 people in that cell, you get punished.
It's just one big massive room.
Yeah. So it's a big room, and then you're lying in rows of 3. Right. So you got legs. It's like getting packed in like a tin of sardines. Yeah. And at the end of the cell, you got 2 toilets, basically holes in the ground. A black bin that had water twice a day that drip in. So you use that water for the whole 80 inmates, and you'd have like a bowl of sticky rice and this like fish head soup, which stunk.
Is that what you got to eat every day?
Yeah, but you'd have to share that between 5 of you.
Right.
So there'd be a plate, and then 5 of you just sit around it, and you'd have to squat, and I couldn't do all that. You know, like the Chinese do, like get on the knee. I had to get used to all that.
Right.
They were quite. I don't know.
Was it the embarrassment as well, having to do the toilet in front of all them?
Well, it was like, you know, the height of self-obsession is sitting in front of 79 inmates. Yeah. Right.
I remember being in Durham. In Durham. It was out in the 80s. First went to jail, and you'd go to the toilet, and the door was up to you, and you'd be sitting on the toilet doing your business, and all right, Brian, all right. I think it's so embarrassing, you know. So you've got to get over that pretty quick, and you know you end up on the toilet quite a lot. How did you? What was your coping mechanism? Was it the fight? Was the weights or anything to train with, or like that? Nothing.
The weights, like was like paint pots with concrete in it, and a brush pole.
Yeah,
literally, like
that's what I trained the Walton with.
paint pots. There was no gym to sort of, but you loved Thai boxing. Right. It was like it's the born to fight.
The side goes over here playing rugby, watching the Paul Everton type of thing.
Yeah. The Thais are blessed with venom in every part of the limb. Right. Every limb is blessed with venom. The elbows, they were lethal. I boxed as a junior, schoolboys. Yeah. So I enjoyed fighting.
Yeah.
Not like fighting just because I enjoyed. I'm going to tell you, you know, a broken arm and a cut and that. You take me out of the ring and you cut emotions, the feelings. So that was my escape to get in. That was like physical pain was great, I could take it, but emotional pain, the relationships, the letdowns, you know what I mean?
100%.
So it was for me. It was like an escape, like
the physical pain isn't as bad as the emotional, because the emotional stays with you. But the physical, like you say, you got a black eye, goes a couple of days, or somebody bullying you or somebody in your back, and mentally it's horrible, isn't it?
Yeah.
So what was there? Did you ever lose in any of the fights? Did you win all of them?
No, battered loads of times.
Did you?
I melted.
Say to me, this guy's so just like, well, you can't tell.
I remember like this Italian kid was getting bullied, and this American Alzo and John, right? They were assholes. Yeah, but these are getting bullied by their own people, by Westerners, right? Not by Thais. So like I'm a bullet out of cause. I thought I'll bring it on myself to like to stop this.
Yeah.
You know, getting involved in something which wasn't even my fight. And
I think that's because you got bullied as a kid
yeah,
yourself.
I did, and I was like, I also said, right, to be honest, I was leave it in, turn it in, will you leave them alone? You know, the harmless. Who the fuck are you talking? So it was these 2 Australians and an Iranian. Who are you talking to? We'll see you in the morning. It's all right, sounds, yeah. I thought, what the fuck have I said that for?
Yeah.
So now I like, you know, my ego's involved here and all that pride, and the doors opens. So I've come out and I'm like that. I'll fight you, but I didn't expect to be fighting 3 of them. One's hit me over the head with this little chair, smashed me over the head, and she saw stars.
Yeah.
I never went down, but another one on this kid's neck, and it's just. You know, that was because he was close. So you do. You just do what you do. And I took a few punches, and I was on the floor, and I was screaming. And because I'd bitten, he was screaming, and the screws came running, dragged everyone off. I've been dragged down to the hospital downstairs, and I remember this Thai guy saying to me, "You no good boxer," because you know, you no good boxer. And I thought, who the fuck, bang, so I've hit him. And then I've been hit over the head with a bat. You know, so I've been hit over the head with a bat, and then I've been dragged down these stairs by my legs, and my head just bounced off every step of concrete steps, and I got put in this compound. Right. And that was it. I just.
What was the punishment like that? Did anything take a punishment? Did they give you? I've seen them when they hit them with the sticks on their feet and things like that.
Yeah, I've seen. You know, it wasn't really. Foreigners weren't subjected as badly as because we had the embassies that could get involved, but there was still a lot, still brutal. But the ties they'd be eating, you know, I've seen it. Guards, commandos, they're called. They'd be eating ties across the balls of the ankles, the soles of the feet, smacking them, beating them really bad.
You remind me of that. Remember Billy Hayes, the same when he went to Turkey and he got captured. He went, remember that film, Midnight Express? Yeah. Remember me of that a little bit, you know, but he went through a lot, didn't he?
See what it is, Brian, right? You know, to be a storyteller, you've got to remember the story, right? And you've got to be telling the truth, right? Of course, I find that, like, when I wrote a book, I thought I could recreate a story, right? I could invent myself as someone different, right? And I thought, I don't want to write that I nearly fell in love with a ladyboy called Tiffany, right? I'm going to write about that, right? An angel used Muhammad. Because all the lads that judge me, I'm not going to say I got beat up by these kids. I'll say I beat them up. Part of me wanted to say I'm going to, and then I thought, you know what? Don't lads. There's a saying you can fool a baker and get away with a bun, but if you fool yourself, you'll end up with none. Right? So I started writing the truth.
Yeah, I think
I was cringing.
Yeah, I think it's like me with the addiction to drugs. People say, "Oh, don't say that in your book. You're going to shoot yourself in the frame." But it's the truth. I want to tell the truth. I don't want to tell lies. And like you said, we talked on when you got in a fight. People, oh, I might not win this fight. He's going to beat me. And I think when you write the book and all, when you tell the truth, you feel like there's a millstone lifted off because you've told the truth. It's out there, everything about your life.
But it shows that you're human as well.
Of course, it does. Yeah.
It shows that you're human. It shows that you've got human feelings, that you're real. It doesn't matter how big or how hard. You know, I growing up, it was like the harder I had, the bigger for. I don't think that was true. No, that was because you're a big fella. You know, like, but we all have the same. We've got the heart. We all bleed. We all cry. We all have feelings. But people try to pretend there's something they're not, and people can see through. I know he's a great guy. I've spoke to him. I've got him like a house on fire. His brother's his hero. He's just a great guy, you know. And I just knew he'd tell the truth, and the same as me. I think. Like your book's been fantastic, hasn't it? Yeah, well, it went from like I'll tell you what, it wasn't easy. I remember. Did you write it and then I'm not writing that script, rip it out? You keep doing that's what I did at first. You know what, Brian? Right, it's a shut down, right? And I'm on bits of roll. This is no lie. I was in a prison in Thailand, and I smuggled bits of toilet roll with. Oh, is that where you wrote the book from? Prison, right? Bits of journalised everything. I got it into one way prison. I got transferred. Computer, so I typed this book out. You know, it took me a couple of years. I tried to sell it. No one would be interested. I had a great story for it, you know. And eventually, someone took it on board, and within 6 months, it became an international bestseller. Right. Within 2 years, it was taken to be made into a movie. But 3 years later, from 3 years from the beginning of writing, it was on the big screen. Right. What was it like to go and watch yourself actually on the cinema? Was it? Yeah, I was a bit big-headed. Cannes Film Festival, right? It's like, see, look, so look, I'm standing on the red carpet, right, blagging it. No one knows that I'm using drugs. In a brand new tuxedo, looking like James Bond, feeling like I don't fit in, feeling like an imposter. With 2,500 people cheering and clapping me achievements. Like this film's been on, watching it, and thinking, I felt sorry for the guy, innit? Fucking hell, what's happening? And then it ended, and all I was thinking about was like, me next use up, I need to go, I need to go. So everything, your whole dreams come to fruition, and you're thinking about going down stairs and using, and that's a sad. That's a.
When did you? What was the day you thought I'm not doing this no more? The drugs. What was the? I know I've done it myself. I've staying off, and you do this thing where you stop for 2 weeks. It's called the honeymoon period. You think I'll be alright when I go out, just have a few goes. Well, see, and I always say the same, Billy. One goes too many, 1,000 never enough. Well, that's what I'm saying. I stopped using initially. Right, I addressed my addiction in 2004. Right. I stayed clean for 3 years. Went to Thailand. I relapsed. I got back from Thailand. I got clean again. I stayed clean for 5 years, Brian. Total abstinence. 5 years. Like now, I believe I would have still been clean today if he hadn't. And then, but what happened was I was diagnosed with cancer. Right. So I had stage 3 cancer. Right. Right. I've gone through it, Billy, lad. Hepatitis. Is this from the prison? Yeah. Over there, yeah. Hepatitis and meningitis. Right. I was on the chemotherapy. I was on loads of medication. The medication became like a crutch, and I used 3 drugs on top of the medication, and I relapsed. And with that relapse, like this is, I'd written a book by this time. The movie was getting ready for the big screen. We'd already done the canned stuff, and in 2000, I broke into my neighbour's house. Right. Right. I had a bit of a cob on with him. It was embarrassing, and there's no escape. I was using drugs, fucking doing my head, and I'm a lazy bastard. I'll just go and break into this. I'm really embarrassed, ashamed of what I've done. Because you got to remember, I haven't been in trouble for over 10 years. Right. Right. I worked for the NHS. I was a drug and alcohol support worker. Yeah. The house, a car, a relationship, everything was going well for me. Right. I had this cancer, and I was losing my mind with everything, and I had a break into my neighbours. Right. And then he ended up. Were you in a bad place? Yeah. Brian, I was paranoid. I was, and I don't deny this. It's. I ended up going to prison again. Right. I got put in prison for 2.5 years. Right. 2017. But you don't go to prison for 2.5 years these days, do you? You do a year, and then you get like what you call like curfews and tags. But for the first time in my life, I went to. Did you stay clean in there? I did. Right. I've been clean now since September the 23rd, 2017. Right. I haven't used since. That's just one day at a time, and that's the best way to do it. I don't smoke, I don't drink. What I do, I miss it. I wish I could go and use, but the reality is there's a consequence. Course, yeah. If there wasn't a consequence, if I could go, I'm going to enjoy that and have a bevy, and I put it down, I'd love to do that. For me, but you don't enjoy it, do you? Because I'm paranoid. One, a lad said to me once, every time you go on, you get it. Every single time. Well, for me, I had like an allergic reaction to drugs. I didn't break out in lumps and bumps. I broke out in handcuffs, pain, misery, and loss. And for years, Brian, it was. See, this is what happens if I pick up a substance. I end up in places I don't want to be. I do things that I don't want to do, and with sound, a clarity of mind, I wouldn't be doing them things. So one reflection, I've got to live in that shame. I've got to live in that embarrassment. And although I'd done this and broke into this guy's house, I took property. A part of me knew it was wrong, and I returned every bit of that property. That's good, yeah. I did. I returned, and the judge said to me, "I've never known anyone to return. Come to the court and bring it." Yeah. You know what I mean? Because I've got to go out. You look after your brother and that, and I just know you're a really good lad, and a lot of it's stems from your childhood, doesn't it? Your environment of your own products and things have happened in your past, and you're trying to take things to mask them, and you think, if I do that, I'll forget about that now. I take up this, but it comes back, doesn't it? Yeah, but I think we've all done something that we're ashamed of. And I think every one of us. I think see people go, I've never done this and I've never robbed that. But I tell you something, right? I bet you've robbed the serenity or the peace or the love out of your mum's
you know, eyes, and they're going to bed worrying about you, and that's what I used to do. She used to be worrying about me. My son's going to get locked up. I don't mind if he gets locked up because I know where he is. But she was afraid that the door would go where the police would be saying his son's being killed, or he's lost, you know, it's, or he's somewhere else being killed. So it's now I think what's important is if we change, continue doing what we're doing, then it's, you know, it's justified to tell.
Albert Einstein said that insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and not changing. So it's like walking into the wall, just doing the same.
So you're going to repeat the same mistake and expect a different result. Then obviously there's no change. See, now it's been about 3 years now. I've got me, you know, I swear, we shit together. And it's not about me telling you what I do that's going to be beneficial to the community, because I know what I do. People who are glory hunters and want to just start taking pictures of things and say, look, this is what I'm doing, right? So you're doing it for a motive, you're doing it for an agenda. Your motive is to let other people look how great I am. Now, secret service sounds a bit like MI5, doesn't it? It's quiet, silent service. You, Brian, like, you're doing things, and I know you do. It's good to promote stuff and build a platform and show others that you have changed. You know what I mean? But for me, to change that,
you have to change yourself, because if you don't change yourself, you can't. It's like being a bit of a hypocrite saying I'm not on drugs when you're on drugs, and people think, and people where you live, they don't. He's still on drugs. He's still taking drugs. He's full of rubbish, and you get them, don't you? False testimonies to give. But you've got to be true to yourself, I think, haven't you? If you're not true to yourself, you can't help no one.
No, you can't. That's
and you've got to forgive yourself as well.
I mean, it's, for me, it's like when someone says you need to make amends, the first person you need to make amends to is yourself.
Of course. And you've got to love yourself as well. If you don't love yourself, you can't love your family, you can't love your kids, you can't love your wife.
Doing what I did and going on the places I went to, I wouldn't have done that. Due to, you know, you're out of your mind.
Well, like you're at today, you wouldn't know, wouldn't you? You wouldn't have, didn't think about it. But what was the scariest thing you've ever been in, would you say? Was it when you went to jail in Thailand?
There was a young kid, I'd seen him regular. He was a young Thai kid, he was about 25 years old. And they were up to the little gangs, as they are. I'm trying to keep myself to myself. I'm in the Bangkok Hilton, there's 20,000 inmates, there's 3 different prisons, Bombat, there's women prisons, there's
really big, massive prisons.
It's massive, it's like a compound within a compound and prisons within prisons.
Right.
And on our prison, the segments alone, there was 1,000 inmates in one unit, but you can't even get that in a prison, like with wings. So we've got 1,000 inmates on one unit, little gangs, central side, mid side, northern side. And this guy.
Can you walk about anywhere?
Yeah, it's like the city of God. You get up at 7 o'clock.
Right.
It's the hottest, 40 degrees. You're fighting for a bit of shade. You could fry an egg on the pavement, that kind of stuff.
You feel like you're going to pass out with it.
Yeah. And the water, you know, you get into, you know, you're under subjected to dengue fever and all this stuff. But this kid come running towards me, and I seen this guy with a knife in his in a pair of flip flops. You could hear it as he's running.
Right.
And he's screaming. And this kid next to me come running out with a chair and smacked him right in the face. And as he's done that, he's slipped, he's lost his balance, and he's gone on the floor. And this other kid was stabbing him. And I mean, Brian, I've never seen any like it. It must have been about 50 times. But the shots weren't like in frenzy. It was like calculated, but the blade was massive. And it was going in his chest, in his back, right through his neck, right through his cheeks, in his legs. He was just all over. And there was a crowd that stood around him, and it was they were screaming, "Ten cow and calm," and I knew what that meant, because I knew Thai by then. And they were saying, "Kill it and stab him." You know what I mean?
Right.
As if he was a dog. You know what I mean? And
what had he done? Did you know what he'd done?
I think it was something to do with drugs and phones.
Right. So
it was drugs and phones.
Do you think if them jails were over here, Billy, people would think twice about going to jail?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's brutal. You know, I've been put in shells that are like they were 4 foot high and 3 foot wide, you know, for weeks. You know, eating fucking sticky rice with all bugs in it, and you know, it wasn't pleasant at all. And I've been put on for always punishments.
And then when you come back in, you went to jail. Like when I went to jail in the 80s, it was like slop out. You had to poo in a bucket, pee in a bucket. you were in 23 hours a day, you got exercise. If it rained, you didn't get exercise. You got maybe association half an hour. They were like brutal. You couldn't lay on the bed. If you laid in the bed, you got nicked. You got nicked for anything, and you was matched about because they were all ex-army in them days. But now, last time I went in 2010, fighting again for someone else, save somebody's life. I got to jail. I was going to be about this. Everywhere you go for people, who was there? I was Brian Cockerill. Oh, it's Billy Miller, I remember. You always get, when you've got that name, you get picked out. There could be 100 people there, and they always remember Brian Cockerill. I've been arrested for so many stupid things I've never even been involved in, or people using your name. So, have you had that yourself when you were in? When you got
no, I think more for me, it was more like it was more
hands-on stuff.
Yeah, I never had like a reputation on the streets. Right. I wasn't not like yourself, Brian, where you put that history. My reputation was nothing to do with it. I was
it's all rubbish, mate. It's all
rubbish. I'd probably get called fucking like a junkie. That was it. Fucking. But I'd never back down.
I know that. I think he's offered bail 3 times already. I've had a bail. I've threatened him with their jaw. Yeah. He's a great guy. He's a good laugh, and we've had a good time today, haven't we? It's just been great. But it's So what's in store for you in the future? What do you think you want to do now? I know what you do, but for the folks who are listening,
so I've started a podcast. I was encouraged to do that by James English, and I've enjoyed
How long have you been doing it for?
Since the end of October.
Did you ever think, in wildest dreams, 10 years ago, you'd be here doing these type of things?
No, to be honest, I couldn't see past the next day. I wanted to die every day when I was away. I was waking up and thinking, I want to escape reality. I can't face the day. There was something inside me that just said, look, just stay with it, stick with it. Yeah. And I said it it's changed my name to Yusuf Muhammad, and blags. You knew I was blagging it as a Muslim. That's mine. And it just get the engine room alive. Yeah. But what I did find out was I found that collectively as a group of people there was unity. Yeah. I felt safe.
You didn't know them as family or anything, or not friends. Yeah. You still.
But you know what I've got the ability to do. When I struggle, Brian, I don't care. Ego aside and the big I am. Yeah. I pick up the phone and I reach out. And if you don't reach out, you'll never find out what's going on within. So I always, I was never big on religion. Right. I believe there's higher powers or something. My brother is our job. He's a big. He's into religion.
I was the same as you, but it just comes to you some days. Some people that come to you, and they're both different persons. Since I've been religion, helping people, change my lifestyle, looking after people. But I've always did that. They give me about that heart where you've got the same heart as me. You've got a soft heart, so you can fight for fun. You're not scared of no one. You won't back out of no one, but you won't see injustice. Like I don't like to see injustice. I don't like to see bullying. No, I don't like to see kids with no
some other people out there,
kids are starving and things like that. I've got up my kids in the street with no food and I bought them. I won't give them money, but I always buy them food. I've got them carrying bag full of food, and I do it all the time. I'm still doing it now, but you feel good to go to bed. If you get up in the morning, you go out and you help someone, even just help somebody cross the road or help somebody change a tyre or something like that, just doing a good deed. And I say to them, pass it on. And then if they pass it on and they pass it on, in the end, the whole world's helping each other. I just think that's the best way to go. And this show, I'm the best fighter. Who gives a shit who's the best fighter and who's the strongest, who's this? So we're all humans, we're all the same boat, we should all be helping.
It's nice to be able to achieve a few things in the sense of physicality wise, as a youth. It's good to be physically in shape, which is it's important.
Of course,
going forward.
Healthy body, healthy mind.
Healthy mind at the same time, and doing something positive with it. But it doesn't mean you build yourself up and then you start taking people down because of it. Or you talked about internet trolls and bullying, which is important. I don't agree with bullying. I've took advantage of people in the past. Brian. And I feel like when someone says that, I feel a sack of shame. Deny it, but it did, didn't you, Bill? Deny it, no, but it did. I was just. It was like.
You've got to be honest with yourself. And another thing is, somebody said to me, I was at a bodybuilding show once. There was a kid on there. I trained him, and he was 11 stone. I got him up to 13.5 stone. So that kid achieves something. If you go to the gym and you weigh 10 stone, you get yourself to 12 stone, you lose the body fat, you get a six-pack, you've achieved something. Don't go to the gym thinking I'm going to be the next Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'm not saying you can't be, but a lot of people can't. Just do the best to your ability, what you can be. And if you can know that you've achieved something, you get people trying to be, I'll bench some more weight, I'll do this, and just do your own little small goals as well when you're training. Like you believe these boxing and everything. So you boxed for England as well, didn't you?
Oh, schoolboys.
Schoolboy.
I'd like to say I did, like, but the box. Yeah. I was at a level where I could have competed a lot more than I did, but you know, like I said earlier on, it was drugs sort of stuff. They became more important than anything else. Become more important than my family. Become more important than anything.
So what would you do these days then?
Now today, you know, I work alongside Weapons Down Gloves Up, which is here with Sonny Bellew and
you were saying,
the Price.
He's a lovely man, Tony. You know, I've never met him.
I haven't myself,
it's you know, what he's doing is fantastic, isn't it?
We've got a lot in common, me and Tony, in a sense of like, but moving forward, you know, I'll be doing a lot of e-learning stuff, you know, teaching kids how to. So you talk about knife crime, and I like that the fact that there's knife crime, but let's have it right. Put down a knife, right, and choose a life. All right, cool. Put down a knife and pick up a bat. Put down a knife and pick up a gun. Right. So we've got like the whole kind of concept of like the weapons down. So I'm going to put a knife down. I'm going to pick up a baseball bat. I'm going to pick up a gun. So it's the totality of it, right? So we're going in and delivering. The talks was being real, reaching people where they're at. Not trying to like, because I had fellas coming to my ma's house when I was a kid with shirt and ties on and clipboards and telling me, I need to stop doing this and the other.
You don't listen to them, you don't listen, because they haven't been in the field like we have. When you talk about knives, I talk about guns or bats. We've been there, we've seen people killed. We've been in that position, so we can talk to people and I've got the tax man. So the things I did in the past, I know they were bad, but it's helping me now to help people today. So you go there and the kids are listening to the police, but no disrespect to the police, they do a good job, no disrespect to the prison officers, no disrespect to social services and people like that. But when they go, they class them as the enemy, and the teachers just walk out, they're not interested when they're talking. But people like yourself and myself, and I think you've got to go there. I think you need to, I was talking to a mayor, I said, I think you need to go into the juniors and teach them before they go. It's no use on that so many path. You don't want to run that path. So if you go into the grassroots, into the schools and teach them what knives do and what guns do, you're going to stop them going on that path. You don't want them off the path. You want them not to go on it.
Look at the history, Brian. Right, look at the history of trying to change people's behaviour. Right, over the years, like the campaigns that have been going on. Right, well, what campaign is actually going to work? Right, I remember nothing for me ever happens in school. No one ever come in and turns up and said we're going to do this and this is going to change. And this is my experience. It was only later in life that someone like that I knew that had changed, that I thought it was possible. I knew it was possible when I seen him. But you've got all these campaigns going on. Well, what is actually going to work? You know what I mean? We can go into schools and tell them all day long, look, I've done this, I don't want you to do it. But the reality is, you've seen it, I've seen it. People are on the phones now in schools. They're not asked, they're not interested in listening to you. Right? But there is that one. Right? It doesn't matter. There is that one. And that one person can change 50 lives.
That's right. Well, me and my wife, we went to get our tyre changed. At a garage, tyre was worn. Went in the garage and I went to pay the man for the tyre for 80 quid, I think. He went, your money's not good. I went, what do you mean? He said, well, I've been watching you on your YouTube and I've been watching on your documentaries. He said, my son stabbed somebody at school. I let him watch your documentary. He's changed his life from. So just watching you on that YouTube, he's changed his life from. He's a different kid now. So I can't take that type if you saved my son's life. And that type of thing makes you keep wanting to fight. And we get inundated. What you don't keep doing, keep the YouTube channel, keep the tip of the days going, keep going. Because there's people sitting in the house depressed to death, and you're giving them a bit of hope, aren't you? And that's one of the most important things, hope. And people have texted me back saying, I've never been in the house for 10 years because you've been doing these tip of the days. I'm out of the house. I haven't seen my family for 6 years. He's out. So you get that good thing, you know, I'm helping people and with the church and that we've done.
Well, you're inspiring people, and people, I get it as well. People slip into the DMs, send me a message and say thanks for your story and how did you get through it. And I think I just kept breathing, and that's all we had to. The only thing, there's nothing special about me. There's nothing different. It's just that I've probably got that fighting spirit.
I
It's
think you're
kept me
special.
alive.
I think you're special. That's what you do.
Thank you.
And I think you're special because you're here today and you're helping people with your story. That story you've got is just amazing. It reminds me of, there's not many people that can really say it's more amazing what you've done, mate. I don't even think I could have got through it myself, and I'm not scared of nothing or anything. But to do what you've done to get through that and come to here today is just amazing, unbelievable, mate.
Thanks, Brett.
So right, we're going to shout and just thank Billy for coming. I love him a bit, and Joe, we love you too. Yeah, brilliant, mate. Fantastic. That was good, wasn't it? Yeah.
Brilliant.
Nice one.